hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV. Now we've got an absolutely loaded day out there on the ice. 13 games on the ice today. So we're going to go over each and every single one of these games where I am looking. Yeah, let's do some magic, Timothy, for sure. We're going to look at some goal scorers. We're going to look at a lot of first periods that I'm liking. I'm looking for some higher scoring games today. So some goal scorers out there as well. So let's jump straight into it, you guys. No time to waste. So puck is dropping in the first game here at the bottom of the hour. 12:30 Eastern, the matchup between the Nashville Predators and the New York Islanders will kick off. Now looking at this one, Saros expected in net for the Nashville Predators tonight and Sorokin for the Isles. Now Sorokin in that last game out really had that big bounce back game that he needed. We know he struggled in those first couple out of the break, but versus the Bruins, he looked absolutely phenomenal in that game. And I'm expecting that style of hockey out of Sorokin in this game. Now, the problem with the Isles, we know it. It's their special teams. That power play is so weak, only converting at 11.1% of the time, the worst in the whole league, and their kill is only 71%. Looking at the Nashville Predators here, they have a really solid kill, 80.9, and I do think here, even if the Predators take those penalties, we're not going to see the Isles be able to capitalize, but we do have a decent power play here for the Nashville Predators at 20.6. I think Nashville, they're 16 points out of playoff contention. They aren't fighting for very much out here. They're still going to come out and play a strong game. We're looking at odds in this one of the Predators at plus 125, minus 150 for the Isles, and a total of 5.5. I do think when you look at this game, you have to look at the under. We know the Nashville Predators haven't had that offense that we really can trust out there to light the lamp on any given day. The problem is if they get on those power plays, their conversion rate is sitting right around 20.6%. So middle of the range here, and against a weak kill for the Isles, they will be able to convert and then could push us over that total. But the thing is, the Islanders are one of the most disciplined teams out there in the league. They don't give the opponents those opportunities to score on the power play. So look for the Isles to play discipline. I think when you look at the goaltending matchup, Saros versus Sorokin, you can look at that first period, and the first period under 1.5 goals. And I know it's always scary taking the under 1.5 goals in the first period, but I do think it is worth it in this case. That's coming in at minus 112. You know, we've got an early morning day game. Expect goaltending and defenses to be on point to start this game. Now, you could also look at the Nashville Predators team total. They've got a team total of 2.5. Taking that to the under at minus 102, especially if we get the same out of Sorokin that we saw in that game versus the Boston Bruins, in which they were able to win it because of him. 2-1, and that was on Thursday. No real look ahead. We do have the Isles then facing the Rangers on Monday, and yes, they need all the points they can get, sitting 7th in the Metro. And this is the first of 3 on the road here for the Nashville Predators. They're at the Rangers tomorrow, so first night of back-to-back as well. The Bruins on Tuesday. So it should be interesting. They are off that 2-1 win versus the Winnipeg Jets, but I think this is kind of bring it back down to earth game in this one. Now, one thing to note, the Predators have won the last 5 as the dog versus the Isles. So I don't want to take a side here. I do think Sorokin is a hotter goaltender than Saros, but we did see strong performance out of Saros in his last. So given the under 1.5 in the first period, minus 112, that takes out the end of the game where this 3-2 and maybe someone gets the empty netter or this one gets pushed to OT. I can't really see it getting pushed to OT. I do think this one finishes 3-2 situation, but I just want to take the empty netter equation out of it. And the under 2.5 goals for the Nashville Predators. Now, when you're looking at who has stood out offensively for the Isles, it is Kyle Palmieri coming in 5 points in the last 5 games. So while it's pretty anemic, the offense out here, you could look at Palmieri. And I do think Anders Lee really needs to step up. Between Anders Lee and Bo Horvat, they've been just so weak out of the break. These are players that really need to come out stronger if the Isles hope to make a push for the playoffs. So look for them to really come out, be getting those shots on goal. I think this is a great game to look at shots on goal because I do think the goaltending will stand up nice and tall, and we will see those shots coming in. Now, Forsberg has 54 points, so he's looking for 55 here for the Predators in 58 games. So he is strong. And Ryan O'Reilly, 7 assists in the last 10. So look for them both on that top line to really get those shots coming in. I could look at Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly for a point tonight because I think Forsberg scores a goal for Nashville and Ryan O'Reilly assists. So if you want to look at their points combined together, I do think it's another strong way to go. So this should be a good one. Good morning, Co. Good morning, Kev. Good morning to each and every one of you. Let's make some freaking money. Jake DeBrusque and Sid the Kid. Sid Crosby for goals today. Yeah, I like that where you're going with Jake DeBrusque and Sidney Crosby. Okay, let's move on to the next game. This one, the puck is dropping at 11:30 Eastern or 12:30 Eastern as well. So these two games about to get underway. This should be a really interesting game. The Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Washington Capitals. I'm so excited to get this one on. I'm actually going to have to turn the TV on as we go on this show because it's going to kick off in 20 minutes. The Tampa Bay Lightning minus 115 on the money line. The Washington Capitals at minus 104. Total of 6.5. Interesting total in this. It's actually juiced to the under at minus 128. If you want to take the over, you're going to get that plus money that we all want at plus 104. I just don't know how this one plays out to the over. I do think it plays out to the under. You look at Andre Vasilevsky, and he has just been elite between the pipes. He's 28, 15, and 3 on the season with a 2.21 goals against average and a 923 save percentage. He's had 4 shutout wins. Over 27.5 save shots on goal for Andre Vasilevsky. Give me all day long. It's coming in at minus 115. And then I would ult it, actually minus 114. I'd ult it to 30 plus save shots on goal to get us that plus money. We know the Washington Capitals at home. They are going to be flying out here on the ice. They're going to be feeding Ovi. So remember that. They're going to be looking for Ovi to get those shots, Ovi to get that goal. And we know how phenomenal Ovechkin is playing right now out there on the ice, chasing Wayne Gretzky's record. So he's scored 7 goals in 8 games here in February. He's at 883 career goals. He's 11 shy now, just 11 shy of Wayne Gretzky, you guys. So looking at Ovi for over 3.5 shots on goal, you're going to have to lay some juice at minus 120, but I do think you could even take him 5 plus shots on goal. 5 plus shots on goal is going to get you that plus money that you so want out there and that I want to. So I will take him there. When I look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, I do think Nikita Kucherov for the anytime goal. If this offense is clicking, it's Nikita Kucherov who will be getting on the board today. So that's where I'm going, you guys. The last time these teams matched up, we had like that barn burner 5-4 win there for the Washington Capitals on the road in Tampa. That was back in November. Ovechkin missed that game from his broken leg injury. So he wasn't playing that one. Look for a fast-paced, hard-hitting, really physical game between these two. We're going to see some power play opportunities for both of these teams because they do get scrappy when they play. Now, when we look at that power play, both teams are so elite. 27.2% for the Tampa Bay Lightning. You know, we look at Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov. There's so many playmakers there for Tampa that you can circle for those power play points. I do think the power play will come into factor today. The team that plays the cleaner game should be able to get the win. The power play here for the Washington Capitals at 24.1. The kills, both strong. The Caps do have an edge on that kill at 82.2, but Tampa rolling in at 80.7. Still strong kills here. Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning are so hot right now. They've won their last 7. They got a shutout win versus Calgary in their last game out, and Andre Vasilevsky stopped all 32 shots on his net. He has been just killing it between the pipes. Washington's lost their last 2. They did lose that last one to the St. Louis Blues 5-2 on Thursday. So for me, give me the under 6.5. I can't see it getting over. I do think 4-2 victory for one of these teams because it comes really tight with an empty netter. I think it's 3-2 in that third period. And then we see the empty netter 4-2. I don't want to take a side in this. I do think it's going to be that tight of a battle. So give me the under 6.5. Give me Ovi for over 3.5 shots. I do think you can look at a couple other players, Carlson to come out to get his assist. If there's assists coming for Carlson. So let's just see what Carlson's assist is coming in at. John Carlson for the assist at plus 130. I do think that's a strong way to go with Carlson. He's going to be setting someone up for that assist. Now, looking at those power play points, like I said, I do think that's where you're going to see that conversion of those goals is on the power play. Both teams so strong. Now, could we see Ovi get a shorty? Absolutely. We have seen those shorties come out of the Washington Capitals as well. So don't count out the fact that the Washington Capitals have every opportunity to get a shorty in this one. I'm not seeing the power play points right now in this game on FanDuel. So you guys keep posted on those power play points, but I would be looking at the power play points. There it is to record 1+ power play point. Kucherov at plus 130, Ovechkin at plus 200. I would look at Ovechkin for the power play point tonight at plus 200. Brandon Point's coming in at plus 260 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. You got Gunsel at plus 280, Victor Hedman at plus 280. I would just look at Ovi and Brandon Point. So that's where I'm going to go, you guys. You can look at John Carlson for the assist as well. Let's jump into the next game. Good morning. Happy Saturday, you guys. How is it already March 1st? Oh, Jake on Tampa. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were talking about Jake DeBrusk. Okay, let's move on to the Calgary Flames taking on Jake Gunsel. And what were you going to do with Jake Gunsel there? So Jake Gunsel for the goal. Okay. Yeah, goal today for Jake Gunsel. Okay, I like that, Jake Gunsel. Okay, let's move on. Good morning, Vinny, to you as well. Let's move on to the next game here, you guys. The puck is dropping between those two right away, so make sure you get those bets in. We're going to look at the Calgary Flames versus the Florida Panthers. Now, the puck will drop at 3 p.m. Eastern on this matchup. And don't forget, I am live on the grid from 4 to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern today with Scott Wetzel. Beautiful 4 hours over on the grid. If you don't know where to tune in, make sure you go to www.sportsgrid.com/watch, and it will give you all the places you can tune in. You can even listen to me for those 4 straight hours. We'll be live betting all of these games, including wrapping up this one between the Calgary Flames and the Florida Panthers. So the puck will drop at 3:10 Eastern between these two teams. And Florida, huge favorite, minus 275 on the money line. Calgary on an extremely hard road trip, getting shut out in their last game. They are coming in at plus 220. Now this totals 5.5, minus 122 to the over. And I do think this has the opportunity of going over this total. Dustin Wolf, while he is being strong at home, you can't trust as much out there on the road. The rookie has been playing fantastic. And the Florida Panthers, I'm looking at this game. They're coming off the win versus the Edmonton Oilers 4-3. I do think they have the ability to put the goals on the board, but I hate the scheduling spot here for the Florida Panthers. I do think Calgary is live in some capacity to be able to come out nice and strong versus the Florida Panthers in this one. The scheduling spot for the Panthers they're off the matchup versus the Edmonton Oilers, who they faced in the Stanley Cup. So that was a circled game back in Florida. And then they have Tampa, a divisional opponent, on deck on Monday here at home. They're sitting third in the Atlantic. Florida sitting second. I do think it's a really bad look-ahead spot here for the Florida Panthers after a hard game. Now, if they weren't coming off that hard game, I'd say no. I wouldn't take that into account, but coming off a really high game, a high win, and then another really pressured game on deck, I do think Calgary is a little bit like Chihuahua barking dog here. So let's take Calgary plus a 1.5 at minus 128. I will do a coffee sprinkle on the plus 198 on the money line for the Calgary Flames because of the scheduling spot. I do think this is one, if Florida wins, they win this in OT. So the overtime bet coming in at plus 350 as Calgary kind of surprises them in this one. Now, Bobrovsky should be in net here for the Florida Panthers. Calgary off that loss to the Washington Capitals 3-0. They were definitely not happy with that loss in their last game out. Off the Tampa Bay Lightning. They definitely were not happy off that loss. And I do think we see that bounce back here in the way they're playing. Now, they have been strong versus the Florida Panthers. They won 5 of the last 6. So definitely not biased here because they are my team, just because of how I do think they will come into this game. Now, I do think we see that higher scoring game between these two teams. I do think we go over that total. So the over 5.5 at minus 122, especially when I'm liking overtime. When we're looking at a couple of players, you can circle here for their shots on goal, anytime goals. Mackenzie Weegar has been just firing everything he can at goal. So 3+ shots on goal for Mackenzie Weegar is a strong way to go. Now, Nazem Kadri, definitely not a player you want to look at on the road there for those goals. He is able to get those assists. Jonathan Huberdeau's where I'd go for the anytime goal in this one for the Calgary Flames. Now on the other side, Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart have been playing nice and strong out there. I would look at both of them to be able to get on the board. Again, higher scoring game. Calgary +1.5 on the puck line, -128 with a sprinkle on that money line at +189. 98, sorry. Blackwood, Makar, and Nate safe in trade deadline of Blackwood. 26 million, 5 years. Okay, yeah. Blackwood has been a great pickup by Colorado. That is for sure. Okay, let's look at the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins are taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. I tell you, Boston, they've had their struggles. That is for sure. They've been really weak as of late on that kill. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, actually, bright shining light of this team is they are able to convert on that power play. And if Boston takes all of those penalties that they've been taking, we're going to see the Penguins have every opportunity of getting the win. Now, the blue line is so weak here right now for the Boston Bruins without Charlie McAvoy on the ice that I do think the Penguins are a live dog in this matchup. So looking at the odds in this, it's -128. We have seen those lines flip. You guys, it was +105 this morning on my book. So -128 now on FanDuel, +106 on the money line for the Boston Bruins, and a total of 6.5. No, 6.5 juice to the under at -130. Swayman versus Nabakovic. Now, we have seen Boston lose their last 5, and I won't be shocked if they lose this one again. The last time these teams matched up, it was a low-scoring game. Back in November, we saw the Penguins get that overtime win, 2-1. Now, the Bruins have played strong in Pittsburgh, though. They've gone 4-1 in the last 5 meetings in Pittsburgh and 5-2 in the last 7 meetings. So we have seen success, but I look at Boston, and Boston will shoot themselves in the foot if they take those penalties. They're going to be hungry to get this win. And I do think when we look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, we look at that defensive weakness first, and then we look at the strength in the first period for this team to come out nice and strong, get those goals on the board, and then they just let leads go. They end up blowing these games. So I'm looking at a first period where we're going to see those goals come rolling in. I'm going to take the over 1.5, but the book's expecting people to take the over 1.5. It's 2 juiced at -132. For my liking to just do that. So I'll look at both teams to score. Both teams to score in the first period coming in at +158. I do think Sidney Crosby comes in nice and strong, and Malkin comes out strong as well. We got Raquel at +200 for the anytime goal. He had the overtime winner the last time versus the Boston. So I'll look at Raquel for the anytime goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then Pasternak. For goal number 33, we take him for that today. He's coming in at +115. I do think it's a higher scoring game. So look for those goal scorers out there. I know the last time these teams matched up, it was lower scoring. Now the Penguins are on the first night of back-to-back. They do have the Leafs on deck at home tomorrow. And when we look here at Boston, they've had hard losses, you guys. Like I said, they've lost their last 5. They lost that last one to the Isles in a 2-1 game when Sorokin was on fire. But we look at their last 5. It's not just that last game that they lost by 1 goal. They have lost their last 5 games by 1 goal. 2 games have gone to overtime. This is the first game of 2 quick games on the road. They have the Wild on deck tomorrow. So they got to get things turned around here for Boston. Definitely not sitting in a good position coming into this with a weak blue line, but I do think those goals are coming for these teams tonight in that first period. So give me that first period, both teams to score. Good morning. Happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Let's make some freaking money. I don't blame you, Vic, for taking the Panthers at all. No apologies needed. I like my money more than I like my team. So if you guys do have reason to take the Florida Panthers, I don't mind it. Chip, thank you. Let's get some freaking money. Let's move on to the next game here. The Detroit Red Wings taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets as I try to turn on my TV because the puck will be dropping in these games right away. So we're going to watch them and talk the rest of these. The Red Wings and Columbus. This is a stadium series, you guys. This is going to be so great out there on the ice. Outdoor game between the Detroit Red Wings and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, we just did see this matchup. They just played on Thursday. 5-2. And it's funny to think Thursday was the 27th, but just 2 days ago, we're March 1st with the short month here. This is going to be one of the largest stadium series yet. 90,000 fans expected. So glad to see people really getting into hockey. Now, I know Columbus is going to do tributes to Johnny Gaudreau. I do believe his family is all going to be there. It is going to be another heart-wrencher, you guys. The puck will drop for this one at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm looking for goals. I'm looking for an entertaining game out of both of these teams. Now, we know Detroit just lost, but Columbus honoring Johnny. I do think we're going to see these playmakers step up, get the win for Johnny again. There's something unstoppable about this team when they're playing at home this season, 19-6-4. Everything they do wraps around the Gaudreau family. So I'm looking for Columbus to be able to get the win, even though they just won 5-2. I'm looking for high-scoring, entertaining games. So looking at those goal scorers, you guys here, we're going to look at, of course, the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm going to look at Adam Fantilli for the anytime goal at plus 200. My TV doesn't want to cooperate with me. Look at that. And then Bon Jenner, really interesting to look at him at plus 240. I do think he can find the back of the net in this one. Now, your goaltending matchup is Cam Talbot, completely confirmed. Elvis expected here. Just give me a higher scoring, entertaining game. So give me the over. Okay. Looking at the Flyers versus the Winnipeg Jets. This should be a good one. We know Winnipeg did take the loss in their last game out. They are over a $2 favorite at minus a 215, plus 176 for the Flyers. And we got a total of 5.5. Now the juice to the 5.5 is on the under at minus 122. Be interesting to see if the Flyers can slow down the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets off that rare loss, 2-1 on Tuesday versus the Preds. It's going to be hard for the Flyers to stop this elite power play, this offense, and then the Jets defense is so strong. So I think if this one stays under the total, it's because the Jets win this more in a shutout style game. Connor Hellebuck in goal versus Ergen for the Flyers. I don't trust the Flyers offensively, and I know they've been involved in some higher scoring games as this offense has been clicking, but against this defense that's only allowing 2.4 goals per game, I just can't see the Philadelphia Flyers being able to put it together out there on the ice. I do think the Winnipeg Jets will dominate in all zones coming off of that loss. Now, they're off 2 road games, and then they've got 4 on the road after this. So they're home for 1 game. This is a terrible, I almost swore. This is a terrible scheduling spot here for the Winnipeg Jets. Apologies for that, you guys. So I hate the scheduling spot. I don't like the line. We're almost laying $2, or we're laying over $2 to the Winnipeg Jets. They're first in the Central. The Flyers are terrible in Winnipeg, but there's no way to find good value in this one, because looking at the juice on the Flyers team total under 2.5, which I think hits, is coming in at minus 152. I took the Jets in that last game versus the Predators in the first period on the puck line. It didn't cash for us, but I'm going back to it today. I do think the Winnipeg Jets off a loss in this first period are going to pepper Ergen out there, and we're going to see the Winnipeg Jets take the first period. So give me the Jets puck line first period, laying a half a goal, plus 134. The home team's gone 17-5 in the last 22 meetings between these teams. But one thing to note, the Jets have been held to 1 goal or less in 3 straight games versus the Flyers. This Flyers defense has been able to really limit the Jets out there on the ice. Strong trends to that under 5-1-1 in the last 7. I cannot take the under in this matchup, because if the Winnipeg Jets explode off of that loss, and after being held to 1 goal versus the Predators, we're going to see them get all of the goals themselves. It's not my concern with what the Flyers are going to do, because I do think the Flyers get 1 goal, 2 goals at most. I could see them being shut out in this game as well. So I'm not concerned about the Flyers' amount of goals. I am concerned about how many the Winnipeg Jets will light the lamp with tonight off of a loss in frustration out of their home crowd. So I don't want to take the full game to the under. I just want to take the Jets first period puck line in this one. Just quickly, those early bets for anyone joining us here. Those two games kicking off right away, the Nashville Predators and the New York Islanders. I'm taking the Nashville Predators under 2.5 goals at -102. First period under 1.5 goals at -112 between those two teams. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Washington Capitals puck dropping right away as well. The under 6.5 for that game at -128. I do believe it's a 4-2 style game. Goaltenders to stand on their heads. Take Andre Vasilevsky here, the Tampa Bay Lightning, over 27.5 save shots on goal, ulching it to 30 plus for that plus money. And Ovi over 3.5 shots on goal. I would take him for 5+ shots on goal and get that plus money as well. Ovi's going to be fed that puck to shoot it. And we'll see if he's able to get it past Vasilevsky. It's going to be a hard one here for sure. That's a recap of those early games. The puck dropping right away. Let's look at the Sharks. The Sharks are taking on the Ottawa Senators, and great news for anyone that's a fan of the Senators. It looks like Brady Tkachuk is in the lineup. This team just decimated with injuries out there on the ice. Now, your goaltending matchup should be Vanacek versus Ullmark. The Sharks, well, they're doing what the Sharks do best. They have lost 7 in a row. They lost that last game in OT to the Montreal Canadiens on the road on Thursday, 4-3. That was a knee-jerker there for the Sharks. They looked like they were going to be able to get things done in that game, and it just won't come together. But we look at the Ottawa Senators. They're having their struggles too. They've lost their last 5. Wednesday's loss to the Winnipeg Jets, 4-1. They're at the Capitals on Monday, which are sitting first in the Metro. And then when we look at the Sharks, they're at the Leafs on Monday. This is their 4th straight game of 8 out on the road. 4th of 8. Or they got 3 more after this. So 4th straight game. 4, 5, 6, 7 games, you guys. Had to count on my fingers for a second. The Sharks have struggled in Ottawa, only winning 1 of the last 5, and the home team has had an advantage. I do think this one goes over 5.5, though. I'm looking at Tyler Toffoli and Celebrini to really come to play today here for the Sharks, as they're hungry to get a win. And with these playmakers out for the Ottawa Senators, Josh Norris day to day, a couple other guys out and on IR, but Brady Tkachuk hitting the ice. I do think we will see the Sharks be able to put up a couple goals, but I do think Ottawa at the end of the day gets the win. So I'm going to take Ottawa first period puck line, laying the half a goal at +110. I think they come out strong off of that last loss now with Brady Tkachuk on the ice. So looking at Brady Tkachuk, this is my best and favorite play of the game. Brady Tkachuk for the anytime goal at -135. That's not the best, but the best is the 2+ points. The 2+ points for Brady Tkachuk at +260. I do think he comes out and is highly impactful in this game for the Ottawa Senators and catapults them to the win. So Brady Tkachuk all day. The Montreal Canadiens taking on the Buffalo Sabres, puck dropping at 7 p.m. Eastern for this one as well. Now, the Montreal Canadiens rolling in here at +125 on the money line, -150 here for the Sabres, total of 6.5. The 6.5 actually is juiced to the under at -118, but I don't see this one staying under that total, you guys. Dobbs coming in here in a net for the Montreal Canadiens, and the Montreal Canadiens have scored 3 or more goals in their last 4 games, and Buffalo has been allowing these goals to trickle in each and every single game, allowing an average of 3.39 goals per game. Now, the Buffalo Sabres are expected to start Lankaken in goal. They're at that loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. They allowed 5 goals in that one. They were able to put up 2 on the Canes defense, which is pretty impressive, though. And the Montreal Canadiens winning their last 3, overtime win versus the Sharks in their last game out 4-3. Montreal, I do think, is a live dog out here on the road versus Buffalo, but it's going to be a high-scoring back-and-forth game. I do like the price that you're getting on Montreal at +125. That juice is starting, or the line is starting to move down. It was +130 earlier, but +125 still holds a value there. So Montreal's won the last meeting 6-1. Big high scoring game. They're able to push it over their total. I'm going to look at first period over 1.5 and both teams to score. I think they just both come out on fire. Tage Thompson, we know for the Buffalo Sabres, has been so nice and strong. Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield on the other side. Look for the goals to come in this one. Let's just look at some of those odds on those goal scorers for you guys here. So we are getting Tage Thompson at plus 135, Cole Caulfield at plus 170, and Nick Suzuki at plus 230. I do think looking further down the list, Patrick Laine here at plus 230 holds a value for the Montreal Canadiens. And then when we're looking at the Buffalo Sabres, Jack Quinn. I like Jack Quinn. He's coming in at plus 300. That is a great bet for him. You could also look at Alex Tuch. He's coming in at plus 220, but I do think Jack Quinn has every ability to get on the board today. So that should be a great matchup. High scoring. Give me the over 1.5 and both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 145. The Edmonton Oilers and the Carolina Hurricanes will face up at 7 p.m. Eastern as well. Now, this is interesting. Edmonton on a 5-game losing streak. The last time this team lost 5 in a row was back in the 2021-2022 season. You got Edmonton's not used to losing this many games in a row. Really hard situation for this team. They're now plus 134. On the money line on the road, minus 162 here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now we got a total of 6.5, minus 122 to the over, and I do think this is a 4-3 style game. Skinner, you guys know I don't trust him. I know Edmonton's going to try to lock down defensively, but Edmonton also tries to come out, play run and gun hockey, hit hard in that first period. And we look at the Carolina Hurricanes. They're a tight checking team. They allow limited shots on goal, but you look at how hungry Edmonton's going to be. They have the firepower, especially Leon Draisaitl, to light the lamp and hit Krejcikov in this matchup. So I'm looking at Leon Draisaitl for the anytime goal. Leon Draisaitl has goals in 7 straight games. His goal tonight would be goal number 45. So give me Leon Draisaitl for the goal at plus 140. Connor McDavid has been very, very, very quiet coming out of the break. He has had an assist in 3 straight games, but he hasn't been getting that production of those shots on goal. He's been feeding Leon Draisaitl out there. Now, Leon Draisaitl is the favorite right now to take the Hart. So leading the league, the Hurricanes, they have gone 4-1 versus Edmonton on their home ice since 2019. So that's going back far. They've dominated here on the season on home ice. You look at their home record. Their home record is 22-6-1. I just can't see them losing here. Now, the first meeting between these two teams was in Edmonton. The Carolina Hurricanes got a 3-2 win in OT. I do think there's a couple of ways to play around with this. I do think Edmonton can go up in the first period by getting a goal, but I think Carolina answers back. So both teams to score in the first period at plus 134. Is a way I'm going to bet it. I also think Carolina wins this one by getting 4 goals. Could it be 3-3 going to overtime? It absolutely could. Edmonton is so hungry for a win. You're going to get everything out of them. This is the last game on the road, though, and I do think Carolina will walk away with it at the end of the day. Edmonton will face the Ducks at home on Tuesday, and you got to feel bad for those poor Ducks. They will not be quacking. Edmonton will be home off a road trip, and I expect it to be a full losing road trip out here. I don't expect them to get the win. So look for Edmonton to really bounce back at home. I'm going to be looking at alt puck lines for Edmonton at home if they lose this game today and really to dominate on the Ducks. But this is Carolina for me all day long. Now, we have seen trends to the higher scoring games between these two, and I do think we get that. Now, Alvin, I don't blame you for taking the under. Both teams should try to lock down defensively, but the problem is you have such hot playmakers in this game on both sides offensively. I just can't see them keeping this one to the under. When we look at those anytime goals, we know Mikko Rantanen was able to light the lamp in the last, and that's another reason I like the over is because there's so many question marks on with his lack of production. And I know he played better in the last game, but with his lack of production since being traded from Colorado here, you have to wonder with his contract coming up, if they are going to try to keep him in Carolina or look to shop him. Remember, the trade deadline is coming up, and a lot of these players could be shopped right away. So we got to stay tuned to those trade rumors and see what is happening. But I do think Mikko Rantanen really plays strong in this one. If he wants to leave, that's one thing, but he's going to show up either way if he wants to stay or leave. You got Leon Draisaitl coming in at plus 120 now for that goal. And Zach Hyman, I still think, is a solid look. Corey Perry deeper down at plus 550 for the Edmonton Oilers, but it is here at Carolina for me. Taylor Hall's coming in at plus 360 for the goal. Mikko Rantanen at plus 125 and Sebastian Aho at plus 140. So I do love a good defensive player. Here, Brett Burns for the anytime goal coming in at plus 550 for Carolina. We know he takes those shots from the blue line, and with Skinner's weaknesses, what we've seen out of him, letting in some shots that he just shouldn't. I think Brett Burns is live for the goal. I'll take Brett Burns at plus 550. One of my favorite bets now that I've seen the value we're getting on him there. Okay, let's look at the next game, the LA Kings versus the St. Louis Blues. Now, while I'm liking that last game to the over, I do think this one stays to the under. The LA Kings so strong defensively, and the St. Louis Blues, while they've been lighting the lamp in some of these games, the heart, the core of this team is a grind them out style defensive play. So I do think both teams will play at that level. This total, though, is a 5.5, so it's kind of scary to take to the under, especially when you have to lay minus 132. But I do think the under is the way you want to go. So minus 118 on the money line for the St. Louis Blues, minus 102 for the LA Kings. And the Kings, man, they are off. That terrible loss to the Dallas Stars, 6-2. I don't even know what the heck was happening out there on the ice last night to the LA Kings, how they allowed the Dallas Stars to rack up those goals with how elite this defense is. Look for this defense to really lock down. Now, it is David Rittich versus it's expected Jordan Binnington. And I love what we've seen out of Binnington since coming back from the break. Surprising win for the St. Louis Blues in that last game out. They were able to beat the Capitals 5-2. Not what I expected out of that game. First night of a back-to-back here for St. Louis. They will face that Stars team that the Kings are coming off that loss to tomorrow. And it's the second night of a back-to-back here for the LA Kings after playing last night. Chicago on deck for them. So I do think the LA Kings get off to a hot start. St. Louis is one of those teams I love to bet to come back. St. Louis, the Buffalo Sabres, there's a couple teams that really never give up. Montreal is the same. And I think if the Kings go up in this one, look for St. Louis to come back, and you're going to get so much great value there. They will become the underdog at home. The home team has won the last 5 games between these two teams, and the under really should be the trend in this one. Trends to the under in the last 15 meetings, 9-4-2. To that under. Now, I do still like some playmakers, and I think you look at parlaying them for their points, even though I think this one stays under that total with this goaltending matchup. So you guys know I look at Kempe and I look at Kopitar for their point parlay together, and I think Kempe, he has 49 points. You know he wants point number 50 tonight. It's scary in a lower scoring game, but that's who I think gets on the board for LA is Kempe. He has 26 goals and 23 assists. Kopitar rolling in here with 46 points, 13 goals, and 33 assists. So a point each parlayed together gets you plus money. On the other side for the St. Louis Blues, Robert Thomas coming in here with 48 points, 16 goals, 32 assists. Jordan Kyrou, 47 points, 24 goals, and 23 assists. And then Jake Neighbors. Let's look for point number 30 out of Jake Neighbors. He's got 29 points, 15 via goal, and 14 via assists. So if you look at this, I would look at Neighbors parlayed with Robert Thomas for a point. And that will get you the plus money. Now, if you want to take Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas, I don't blame you. Those are your leading guys on this team. You could take all 3 parlayed together for the point as well, because I do think Neighbors gets it tonight. Let's move on. Let's make some freaking money today. It's definitely a good day to make some freaking money. Every day is a good day to make some money. That is for sure. We have 3 games left. The New Jersey Devils firstly taking on Utah. I just want to make sure the New York Islanders have already scored first. We are 3 minutes into the first period there, and the Isles have come out with a big goal on the Nashville Predators. Interesting, all those lines are locked. The puck has dropped between the Tampa Bay Lightning. I wish my TV would turn on for me, and the Washington Capitals. There we go. We're going to turn on. So we're going to have to turn off the volume here. That one is sitting 0-0 between those two teams. So both of these games in full swing right now, you guys. I will keep you updated as we go to what we are seeing out there on the ice. I'm so excited. Which game do we have on? Why do I have Minnesota and Colorado on? This is a replay. We do not want to watch a replay today. So let me just get this game on, you guys. There's Tampa and Washington. So we're looking at 1-0 for the Isles versus the Preds. Now, this is showing that we can get the Predators plus 1.5 at minus 114 on the puck line, and the Isles minus 1.5 on that puck line at minus 122. I don't love it, you guys. That total 6.5 now, though. Give me the under 6.5 at minus 114. So if you didn't get into this game before, that live bet on the under 6.5 is minus 114. Yes, quick goal out here for the Isles, but again, I don't expect the Predators to score a lot of goals in this game. We're looking at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Washington's going to be on a delayed penalty here. So the Tampa Bay Lightning at minus 125. I still think the Tampa Bay Lightning could win this coin flip style game with the Washington Capitals at home, but I think Tampa probably comes out and scores on this power play. We talked about that, the power play. Both of these teams need to play clean. The team that does not play clean is going to lose this matchup. So it looks like we have, is it Ovi in the box? They're showing Ovi on TV. I think Ovi took the penalty. Let's look at the New Jersey Devils versus the Utah Hockey Club. I tell you, the Utah Hockey Club is playing above what I expected. They've won their last 3, you guys. Thursday, destroyed. And I'm talking absolute freaking destroyed. The Minnesota Wild with Marc-Andre Fleury in net. They put up 6 goals. Now they've scored 8 power play goals in their last 6 games, including 2 versus Minnesota. So Utah's being deadly on their power play as of late. Now, Jake Allen in net for the New Jersey Devils always gives me concern out there. He struggles sometimes between the pipes, and other times he comes out really good. The New Jersey Devils have been allowing 3 goals in their last 3, while Utah's only been giving up 1 goal on average in their last 3 games. So you look at it, I think Utah has to come back down to earth, but when? When are they going to come back down to earth? Looking at the line on this one, the Utah Hockey Club are minus 118. I can't do it, you guys. Minus 102 here for the New Jersey Devils, total of 5.5. I'm going to look at some player props, and that's the only real way I want to go with that in this one. I do think you look at Utah over 2.5 goals, but again, way too juicy at minus 164. Clayton Keller, assist number 300. He's got 299 career assists. Can we get Clayton Keller for the assist tonight? Absolutely. Look at him for the assists. Dylan Guenther has 6 goals in the last 8 games. I do think Keller and Guenther, you look at the power play points for those guys tonight. They've been so strong. And then on the other side for the Devils, Jack Hughes, he has points in the last 4 games, 4 goals and 2 assists. Look for Jack Hughes for multi-points tonight. So multi-points for Jack Hughes, Clayton Keller, Dylan Guenther, power play points, or just a point parlay together, however you want to roll with it. But I'm expecting the goals in this one. I'm not going to touch total. I just want those player props, you guys. Give me the player props. The Vancouver Canucks versus the Seattle Kraken. Okay. The Kraken, my favorite bet, just Kraken team total under 2.5. It just seems like an instant here. Tampa on that power play, and it looks like, you guys, we just saw the Washington Capitals on a shorthanded shift right now because Tampa's on the power play, almost score. Andre Vasilevsky just made a brilliant save out there. He wasn't able to hold on to the puck, but we're seeing Washington break out again and firing on Andre Vasilevsky. So that's what I talked about. Washington has the ability to get those shorties out there. It is never safe for a team when they're on that power play. So Tampa's going to take another chance. They've got 26 seconds left to score. So the Vancouver Canucks versus the Seattle Kraken. This is a great game. If you don't have it on, what the heck are you doing? Turn it on right now. It's minus 110 here for the Vancouver Canucks, minus 110 for the Seattle Kraken. Total 5.5, minus 122 to that under. It's Seattle under 2.5 goals. Let me just see the juice on this one. I haven't bet it yet because I knew it's automatic. It's plus 108 for the Seattle Kraken under 2.5 goals. We have been rolling with that. Seattle's been giving up so many goals that I have a concern of this total under 5.5, even though I think they're going to get 1, 2 at most here for the Seattle Kraken on the board. We have seen trends to the over between these two teams. Vancouver, although, has only been giving up 2.6 goals in the last, I'm getting distracted. The game is really good. Last 5 games. So Washington was able to kill that whole penalty. So we have seen Vancouver playing stronger, and when they play stronger on the road, now they're off that terrible loss to the Anaheim Ducks. They allowed the Ducks to put 5 goals on the board. They face the Ducks again on Wednesday at home. This is the last game on the road of 5. So you can start to see tired legs come in. But even if Seattle wins it, I think Seattle would win this one 2-1 if Vancouver comes out that flat. If Vancouver doesn't come out flat and Washington is on the board, you guys, a beautiful goal on Andrei Vasilevskiy out there for the Washington Capitals. I need to look at where those lines have moved, you guys, seeing if we should jump in. And that's why you want to come join me over on the grid, because that's what we do with all of these games out there on the ice, looking to live bet them. Okay, the Washington Capitals up 1-0. We are seeing the lines locked right now. It is showing that was the first shot on goal. The Washington Capitals, I saw a couple others. There might be goaltending interference. So we did see Tampa push a Washington player right into Andrei Vasilevskiy, pushing him out of the crease even. So with that goal coming in. So we'll see if they take that one back. Everything's locked, so we can't go there. Let's finish talking out this game while they review that goal and see if it's good. But Seattle under 2.5. Win or lose, I do think they stay under that number. The last game on deck is the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Anaheim Ducks. Now, the last time these teams played, the Anaheim Ducks got a 3-2 win back in November. I do think Chicago has just been having its struggles. I really feel for Connor Bedard. He looks completely defeated mentally out there on the ice. Look for him to step up in this game. I do think him, Teravainen, Tyler Bertuzzi come out nice and strong, but I don't think it's going to be enough versus the Ducks. They're plus 126 if you want to take a shot. It does look like that goal is good for the Washington Capitals. But there's a coach's challenge. That is what's happening out there. Minus 152 for the Ducks. Total of 5.5. That 5.5 juice to the over at minus 138. I'm going to look for the Ducks just to win this big. I don't like what we've seen out of Chicago. They've lost their last 5 now. We do have the Ducks rolling in with momentum off a win. This is their last game at home before they head off to face the Oilers on Tuesday, which are going to pummel them. Look for the Ducks puck line. I'm going to take them laying 1.5 at plus 156. So that is where I'm going. Yeah, it's always fun with those live updates, David, and everything that is happening. Kelly, good morning to you and everyone. Let's make some freaking money, you guys. Let's jump into the recap. We're at the 46-minute mark. We've flown through today's show. So everyone that's here, thank you so much for joining me on the daily, seeing you guys, tons of you watching on X and over at YouTube. So appreciate you so much. There's over 200 of you watching on X. If you can do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that retweet button so more people can check out the show. Would so greatly appreciate it if you guys could. Also drop those comments on who you are betting today. I want to hear it. If you guys have a same game parlay that you're rolling with or a long shot parlay for some of these teams, definitely need to know it. Okay, let's jump into the update. I'll keep you posted on this coach's challenge out here. First, let's update what we're seeing. The Nashville Predators and the New York Islanders still sitting 1-0 for the New York Islanders. We are seeing the coach's challenge. We're going to get the ruling here on this goal. So let's see what's happening there. Tampa, it's looking like it's going to be no goal. They've taken the goal away from the Washington Capitals. It was goaltending interference there. So we're back to a straight pick 'em here, minus 113. This total sitting at 5.5, minus 138 to the under, and plus 106 to the over. Live betting this game. It's going to be a hard one to live bet. It was a 6.5. We're rolling with the under 6.5. The 5.5 is a hard number to get behind, especially with the under at minus 154. They're expecting a lower scoring battle here between the goaltenders, and I won't be shocked still if it stays under the 5.5. If you didn't get the 6.5, I wouldn't jump right now. The Isles and the Predators, I still think that one stays under the 6.5. The problem with that, it's minus 154 to the under. So let's jump into the games that will be kicking off later. I'll keep you posted on how these games are going. So it is recap time, you guys. The Calgary Flames versus the Florida Panthers, 3 p.m. puck drop. We've got Dustin Wolf versus Bobrovsky in net. I'm looking for the Flames to be able to keep it tight versus the Florida Panthers. The Panthers are in a gross scheduling spot. Off a win versus the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup rematch back in Florida. And then they have the Tampa Bay Lightning divisional rivalry on deck. Give me the Flames plus 1.5 at minus 128 with a sprinkle at plus 198 on that money line. Overtime at plus 350. I definitely think gets there. And the over 6.5. Look for those shots on goal. Mackenzie Weegar, Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart for their shots on goal tonight. Jonathan Huberdeau for the anytime goal. Sam Reinhart for the anytime goal as well. The Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins, first period over 1.5 goals at -132, and both teams to score at +158. You guys, this game is intense. If you're not watching Tampa and Washington, it's taking all of me to be able to talk and watch this. Hopefully, I don't scream because of a great goal when we go here. So I'm trying to concentrate. So both teams to score in the first period at +158 between these two teams. Pasternak at +115 for the anytime goal. Raquel at +200 for the anytime goal. He scored the overtime in the last meeting between these two teams, and I do think he can come out nice and strong. Pasternak going for goal number 32. The Detroit Red Wings and the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is the outdoor stadium series, and I'm looking for an entertaining win here out of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think this one goes over the total. High attendance in this game. Adam Fantilli, Bonjenner for the anytime goals. I think they come out nice and strong. Again, honoring the Gaudreau family. If you want to take the puck line, I wouldn't blame you for taking that puck line. This team is 22-7 at home on the puck line on the season. Looking at the Philadelphia Flyers and the Winnipeg Jets, the Jets have lost to the Predators. Look for them to come out strong in that first period and get the win. First period puck line laying a half goal at +134. They have been fire at home. Between these two teams, the home ice has been the advantage. The Flyers under 2.5 goals. It's too juiced, but I do think they get at most 2 goals. I think probably more likely 1 with how strong the Winnipeg Jets team has been. Now, I don't want to take the full game to the under just because the Jets could get on that power play and really take out that last loss on the Flyers here. So the Flyers under 2.5. It's juiced at -152, but definitely a nice way to look at this team if the juice starts to drop. The San Jose Sharks versus the Ottawa Senators, favorite bet of this game and of all of the games for a player prop is Brady Tkachuk, 2+ points tonight at +260. Brady Tkachuk back out on the ice for the Ottawa Senators is going to look to take out his frustration of those injuries on the San Jose Sharks. First period puck line here for the Ottawa Senators, -0.5 goal at +110. And Brady Tkachuk for the anytime goal at -135. I do think this goes over the total of 5.5 because Celebrini and Toffoli get on the board. When we look at the Montreal Canadiens versus the Buffalo Sabres, I think Montreal's live here, +122 on the money line. We have seen the value start to drop in this one. They won the last matchup versus the Buffalo Sabres 6-1. Back in November. I'm going to look at Tage Thompson to come out strong, though, for the Sabres. Alex Tuck as well. But Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, I think, are your playmakers for Montreal that I would be circling in a high-scoring game. The Edmonton Oilers versus the Carolina Hurricanes, you guys, when we were live here, we're looking at some of those goal scorers. Give me Brett Burns at +550 for the anytime goal here for Carolina. He's not what I really classify as an offensive defenseman, but he's a defenseman that gets a ton of shots from the blue line. And against Skinner, who allows in some weak, weird bouncing goals, I could see that one coming in for Brett Burns in this matchup. So give me this game for Carolina. I think they're able to get the win. It's going to be a hard spot, though. Edmonton's going to completely push them. I could see this being an overtime win for Carolina. First period, both teams to score at +134. The Carolina Hurricanes over 3.5 goals is coming in at -116. I know we should see that lockdown on defense. The Carolina Hurricanes are a tight checking team that really limit the ability for those shots on goal. So the defenses should play, but the problem is Edmonton is so strong offensively. I think they push Carolina into a higher scoring game. Even though this team tries to lock down on defense, they've been struggling defensively out of the break, and I just think that they have to stay competitive, and they'll give up those defensive edges in this game versus Carolina, and they'll put up a couple goals themselves. Leon Draisaitl has had a goal in the last 7 straight, so Leon Draisaitl at +120, we are starting to lose value on his anytime goal. Connor McDavid has been quiet out of the break. I'd take his shots on goal to the under. You guys, I hate fading someone who has been weak out of the break, but it's just undeniable how weak he's been. But he has been getting those assists. He just hasn't been getting those shots. So you could look at him for the assists. Carolina just so strong on their home ice. I think they get it done. The LA Kings versus the St. Louis Blues under all day. We've got David Rittich, though. I think he'll step up for the Kings. The Kings will have to lock down defensively after that bad, terrible loss last night that cost me money to the Stars. Sorry. And this one stays under. Binghamton in net for the St. Louis Blues. I think St. Louis can get it done here at home. You guys, this is such a good game. Those shots are so limited, but these guys are playing fast hockey out there on the ice. This is hard-hitting, fast-paced game that we so wanted to see. So looking at the Kings, I know low-scoring game, but it's always Kempe and Kopitar parlayed together for the point. Kempe has 49 points, so look for point number 50 tonight. Kopitar rolling in here with 46 points. On the other side, I like Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou for the points, but I also like Jake Neighbors for point number 30 tonight. I think you can parlay all three for a point, and you should be able to hit it in this matchup. Okay, the New Jersey Devils and the Utah Hockey Club. Utah's been playing above my expectations. They've been dominating. They've been able to get the power play goals, and I don't know if they'll be able to score on Jake Allen, because Jake Allen, I don't know. He comes out strong some days and he doesn't the other days. He's really frustrating for me as a bettor on where he's going to go. Now I'm expecting him to allow some goals in here. Clayton Keller, Dylan Guenther, I think can score on the power play on Jake Allen in this one. So it's a player prop game for me. I do like the points. I do like the goals. I think you look at Jack Hughes. Another player I love for 2+ points is Jack Hughes. And then on the other side, Clayton Keller and Dylan Guenther. Guenther has 6 goals in his last 8 games after coming back from injury. He's been just on fire. And Clayton Keller looking for assist number 300 tonight. Sign me up all freaking day. The Vancouver Canucks and the Seattle Kraken. I'm going to just take the Kraken's team total under 2.5. That was coming in at plus 108 when we grabbed it earlier. You guys, I don't want to do anything with the total because I think Vancouver could come out and win this 4-2, 5-2, pushes over that total, or the Seattle Kraken actually have a really strong day out of Joey Daccord. Vancouver off the loss to the Ducks and the last game on the road of 5 falls flat, and Seattle wins 2-1. So that is where I'm going. Keep me off the total, keep me off the side. Just give me Seattle's team total under 2.5. And last but not least, we're going to go big on the Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks laying 1.5 on the puck line at plus 156 against Chicago. That's absolutely struggling. Now, I do think Connor Bedard gets on the board. I think you look at Bedard, Bertuzzi, and Teravainen for their points tonight. The goal for Connor Bedard, and then for the Anaheim Ducks, you know, Leo Carlson has been playing great. Troy Terry out there as well. I think this Ducks team is the one that is going to score. So that is the recap. Jay, thank you for watching and tuning in for years. I really appreciate that. You guys are just absolutely the best. There's nothing better than seeing your guys' names pop up in the comments that I have seen for years here on Pocket with Joe. It's crazy. You grab Kachuk for the 2+ points. Let's go, Vic. Let's make some freaking money. Let's just look. Has anything happened with the Isles, you guys, man? The Isles and the Predators. We got 7 minutes left in that game. And I just want to check a couple of things. Remember, I am live on the grid from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. And that's every Saturday and Sunday. You can catch me on the grid. We're going over not only the games on the ice, but we're also going over. We got Tampa on a power play. We're also going over everything happening on the hardwood. We know we're rolling into March Madness here. It's going to be great. You can also catch me for my Sports Millions Pick'ems every single day on Game Time Decisions. So stay tuned for those and those guest experiences, and Sports Rage every Monday night. This coming Friday, I will be on Game Time Decisions with Scott Wetzel. Is it 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, I believe it will be at. So when we look at the Predators versus the Isles, you guys, I just wanted to look at a couple of things with those shots on goal. So you guys know I was liking the Predators and the Isles to stay under that total. We were able to live bet them, and it looks like the Isles did go up by a goal. They're up 2-1 right now. This team has really been limiting the Predators' ability to get those shots. The Predators only have 3 shots on goal right now. The Isles coming in with 12. So the Predators are being limited. We should still stay under that total. We'll see what it comes up as. I'm not even showing on my app who was able to score that goal here for the Isles. The Isles have been weak offensively, but Tampa on that power play, again, Washington being really strong at killing it. You guys, looking at that matchup, the Tampa Bay Lightning have 6 shots to Washington's 2 shots on the net. So now with that game, we do have a total of 6.5 between the Isles and the Predators. The under 6.5 at plus 102. I still think we stay under that number. Saros has to play stronger between the pipes here. The Isles with that goal, it was Kyle Palmieri with the power play goal, unassisted there for the Isles. So hopefully you looked at Palmieri in this game. Again, that is a player that really needs to step up for the New York Islanders. We talked about him earlier. Palmieri was coming in at 5 points in the last 5 games. So his head really has been talks of trade. We could see him being traded. So Anders Lee and Bo Horvat have to step up as well. So looking at those games, you guys, that's where we're sitting. I want to wish you all the best in all your bets. Again, join me over on the recap. Vic, you are so very welcome. Let's make some freaking money out there, you guys. I love Brett Burns. You guys, I'm so glad we found Brett Burns out there. Top 5 player props for today. So Brett Burns for the anytime goal for Carolina on Edmonton, plus 550. Brady Tkachuk, 2+ points tonight for the Ottawa Senators. What was that at, you guys? +2. I want to say it's +290. I'm going to look at as well. Let's just see. Top 5. 5 is hard, you guys. So it is Brady Tkachuk, Brett Burns. I do think Ovi gets his shots on goal. Ovi for 3.5 shots on goal to the over. I would take it -120, 5+ shots on goal at that plus money. I love. I would also look at, so there's 3. We're at 3. You guys are pushing me for 5. You got to look at Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield for Montreal. I think they're live in this one. And then Leon Draisaitl for the Edmonton Oilers as well. Leon Draisaitl has been way too hot not to get something done. We got Neighbors as well for his 30th point of the season. So that's where I'm going, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. Have the reverse puck line. I freaking love it, Derek. What it's the Habs for the reverse puck line. They have every ability to win that matchup, and I absolutely love where you're going. I'm going to tail, and that's why you guys let me know what you're liking, especially like with me already liking Montreal as a live dog at +126. It doesn't take a lot of convincing for me to jump on a reverse puck line with you guys, because looking at that, I already think this team can win. If they're going to win, they have to win it by 1 goal, right? So then laying 1.5 on that puck line at +285, Derek, you had me. A reverse puck line is my freaking favorite to jump on when you think these teams are going to win. So you guys, I'm fully behind that. Tomorrow, noon Eastern. I hope it's a little bit of a lighter slate out there tomorrow. I believe it is. Last Sunday was pretty heavy. We're still pretty heavy, but 6 games, actually 6 really good games. We have the Leafs and the Penguins, Boston and Minnesota, Calgary and Carolina, St. Louis and Dallas, Nashville and the Rangers, and the Devils versus Vegas. So the Devils are in that look-ahead spot today, but the Utah Hockey Club, I tell you, I just can't trust them enough out there. Clayton Keller should play a strong one, and Dylan Guenther, though, as well. So you guys are absolutely the best. We will see you back here noon Eastern tomorrow. 6 games on deck. Probably will take the same time as these, but again, Tampa and Washington, just quick live bet in this one. That total has dropped all the way to 4.5. Oh, the juice is way too high. Over 4.5 is -152. If you see this one drop down to 3.5 at -115, I will be jumping on the over 3.5. Tight first period here. Exactly what we wanted. The under 1.5 in the first period. Fingers crossed for the last 5 minutes of this game. 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Washington 2 shots. Tampa 7 shots. And then the Islanders leading the Preds 2-0. Again, join me on In Game Live 4 to 8 Eastern. You guys are the best. We'll see you